Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. I am Agni James, and tonight we are going to be doing a deep dive meditation. I think it's really important sometimes to just really go down as far down as you can to the center of one's being and just kind of let all the external world go. Just focus on your breath and just be at peace because that's our natural state. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So how's everyone doing today? How's life for everyone? We have a first time chat from Tokyo Kian. Hey, how is it going, friend? You say a happy Jupiter Neptune transit. Yeah, right. I would love to be able to go that far away from the external world and really go down deep to the source of all creation, or the root of all being. Right. If we can get there, then that's beyond Jupiter and Neptune. You know, I'm down for that any day of the week. Well, welcome to the community. Um, I'm actually close to 300 followers now. So if you like what you see tonight, make sure you drop me a follow. And yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm at 292, which is pretty cool. Hey, JT Farms is here, the channel shaman. Hello, how are you? It's the day after your birthday. You survived last night, huh? You survived yesterday. Good to see you, JT. What's going on with you? What's new in your world these days? Those of you who don't know, JT Farms is a fire poet, and she's an incredible human being. Also, she regulates the energy in this channel. She keeps the negative out and keeps the positive in. She's like the most amazing facilitator available, the most amazing facilitator on the planet. Let's see, LL, you just barely survived your birthday. Yeah, I mean birthdays can be intense, right? You go into your birthday, you're expecting, I don't know, people have all sorts of different expectations about what's going to happen on their birthday, but you never know. I mean they usually don't go as according to plan, right? Something weird always happens. Birthdays are weird days. I was actually thinking about it, like it's kind of a weird thing to celebrate, right? To celebrate, like every year you celebrate your birthday. Like maybe we shouldn't celebrate at all. You know, maybe we shouldn't celebrate any holidays. That'd be a weird world, right? If there were like no holidays, if like every single day was just pretty much identical to the previous day as far as like how much you were going to celebrate. That'd be kind of bizarre. Maybe that would suck actually. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna scrap my previous comments, and I'm going to say, yeah, that would probably be a terrible idea. So anyone who's new to the channel, I usually talk for a little while, and then we tone things down and we do the meditation. So feel free to hang out here and chat, or just come back whenever the meditation's starting. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Let's see. JT, say you're having a good day. Great. You say, LL, stop when you reach a certain point in your existence. Birthdays are just another day. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting to think about, right? Birthdays are just another day. Yeah, I mean they are, right. It's pretty much just like saying, hey, we're going to take this one arbitrary day of the year, right? It just happens to be the day that you were born, and we're gonna celebrate, and everyone has different customs and social mores and how they celebrate, right? Some people I don't know, do weird stuff. In the 20s, people would climb flagpoles, they would see how many people they could pack into a phone booth, or a car, right? That was like a big thing back then, I don't think that was for birthdays. I don't know why I got that in my mind. I guess I was thinking of like the social conventions that people do, and different cultures having different ways to celebrate birthdays. But yeah, it is at the end of the day, it is just another day, right? All right, so yeah, you'd climb a pole. Would you climb up a flagpole though, JT? Would you climb to the top of a flagpole, like Roaring Twenties style? That's how we did it in the Roaring Twenties, right? 1920s. It's been 100 years since then. But people in the 1920s used to, in America at least, they used to do a lot of cocaine, and they would get real hyped up, and they'd climb flagpoles, and that was like the thing. It's like, what are you going to do today? It's like, oh, I'm gonna like do 6 lines of coke, and then climb like 4 different flagpoles in my area. And everyone's like, wow, that's awesome. That's a great day. And like that's what people did though. That's what people did back then. Every time period, every temporal stage of human development is always different, and muddled with different activities that people do. You know, think about all the different sports that come in and out of existence, or all the just the things that people like to do. Right? It's always different. Uh, JT, you say LL non-specific poll. Yeah, right. So it's great. I'm grateful that you all are here and that we're going to be able to do some meditation. I did an additional Bikram yoga class tonight. So typically I like to take a break. Like I'll do one and then I'll take a break the day after. Then I'll do another one, maybe take a break the day after that. But I did one last night and I did one tonight too. I was feeling inspired. And when you have that feeling of inspiration in you, when you feel really like pumped up about doing something, a lot of times there's a good reason, you know, why, and it's like your intuition telling you, hey, you know, get in there, do it. So I did the class and I feel really good. My body just feels so clean. Those of you who don't know about Bikram yoga, it's hot yoga. It's 26 postures from the Hatha yoga set that are done in 105-degree Fahrenheit weather. So it's hot in there. You're sweating. You're dripping. You're working hard. Your heart rate's up. We're working real hard. It's intense. I mean, people picture yoga. They picture people just like stretching and lying on the floor, right? They don't picture like intense movements in 105-degree weather, right? It's always an experience in there, and I've been doing it for over 10 years. I love that studio. JT, you say, yeah, you were inspired last night. You couldn't stop writing, couldn't go to sleep. The moon is high. Ooh, you had that energy. You had the divine energy in you, and it was keeping you up. Your muse visited you. Beautiful, crazy, huh? That's good. Did you get anything interesting written? Any good poetry, or was it like journaling? Like what kind of stuff were you writing on? I'm always interested to ask you. You know, you're a fire poet. You're a fire poet. You know, I want to know what you write about. You say, yeah, your muse was here all night. Oh, well, there you go. You had good company. You had good company. You and your muse hanging out, and you're writing the words that she speaks in your ear, the sweet lullabies that she sings to you at bedtime. That's beautiful. Mostly nonsense. Well, JT, come on. We have to like at least make it sound poetic, right? We're both poets, so we have to make it sound poetic. Don't say it's nonsense. We gotta say it's deep and profound. You just have to keep looking, and then you'll discover some deep, profound mystery, right? JT, you say, yeah, he is great company. Oh, it's a he. Your muse is a he. You know what? I shouldn't have been so quick to be gender specific with that. Yeah, okay. Well, he is a good muse then. He is a good muse, I will say, as opposed to she is a good muse. Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know the gender of my muse. I kind of just view it as like as just some kind of like being that's like beyond gender. That's kind of how I always viewed it. Hey, Paprika Soda. Hello, welcome to the channel. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just doing some talking, and we're gonna hop into meditation in I don't know, just probably a few minutes. How are you doing today? How's everything going on in your neck of the woods? JT, you say your muse is everything. Your muse is everything. Well, that's intense. That's intense. The question I guess I would ask, well, then is nothing part of everything, right? These are the questions that philosophers like to ask, right? Is nothing part of everything? Does everything include nothing? You know, and if it does, then that kind of creates a little bit of an issue, right? My personal view is that nothing is not part of everything. Everything does not actually contain a nothing, that there just is something, and then there's the absence of there being something, right? But the second you ascribe a label to it, the second you ascribe a name to a given thing, then it becomes a thing, at least in the human context, right? Hey, One Sluggy's here. Good to see you, One Sluggy. How are you doing, friend? I always get pumped when you come into chat, man. How's life? One Sluggy is a streamer here on Twitch. He does primarily gaming streaming. He's a super awesome dude. Really down to earth guy, authentic, genuine. That's the thing. People that come to this chat typically possess those characteristics. They're authentic and they're genuine, and I think that's because I try to be authentic and genuine when I'm out here streaming and in the real world, right? We don't want to see fake people. There's enough politicians out there and people who are acting with a pretense and just putting on some false image, right? And they act differently to all the different people they see, and they don't really have a true self, right? There's enough of those people. We see those people, at work. We see those people every day. But then there's people that we actually encounter that are real, that actually, relate to you as if you're like a human being and not just a means to an end. Immanuel Kant actually was famous in his respect for persons work to talk about treating people as ends in themselves and not just means to an end. He believed that a lot of the human condition, a lot of the problems from humanity stem because people use other people. They use someone as like a means to get something else. They're not treating them with the dignity and respect that each individual actually deserves, just because they're an individual, just because they're a human being. He says that we have this intrinsic value. All human beings have intrinsic value, and it's important to acknowledge that, right? If we don't acknowledge that, if we just use someone as a means, then we're not doing anyone a favor. We're not doing ourselves a favor, and we're definitely not spreading unconditional love in the process. Let's see. Sorry about that rant. Let's get back to chat. Oh yeah. Anyways, check out One Sogi. Drop him a follow. One Sogi, say you're doing great. How are you? Good, man. Good. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing great. You got the new job going again, right? How's that going? You said I think it was FedEx, right? Did that ever end up starting up? I remember we were talking. You said you knew some of the people that worked there because you used to work there, and so like that's like a little bit easier if you already know like some of the job and some of the people that are there. One song you say fake energy is exhausting to deal with. Yeah, right, dude. Fake energy. Who wants to deal with that, right? You meet up with someone and they're just being like totally fake and they're trying to make you, like I have this one friend, and he's always just trying to like say things that like he thinks are going to impress me, and it's like, dude. Like, can you not say those things? Can you not act like that? Can you just be real with me, man? He ended up moving to Thailand. Actually, he lives in Bangkok, and it's like we were friends in high schools, and it's just kind of weird. Like every time I talk to him now, he's just like, "Do you know all this money I made? Let me tell you about all this money." And I'm like, "Great, man, that's cool." And then he's like, "Well, hold on, I have more stuff to tell you. Like, let me tell you about this expensive car that I drove. I bought as a toy just for fun, and then I didn't even want it anymore. Ha ha ha! So I sold it off and." I lost a lot of money on it, but I don't even care because I have so much money. It's like, dude, like, why, like, okay, that's fine, if that's what makes you happy. But then, like, he'll call me up when he's drunk and he's like crying and like telling me that he's like, he can't get off the floor and how his heart is broken. So, like, I don't know. People are weird, right? People are weird. Some people, they like to try to make themselves sound amazing and great, and then you see them like when they're feeling down and the truth comes out. And then there's some people that are always real and genuine with you, and those are the people that I tend to connect with best in life. Let's see. One song you say, "Oh no, I never showed up. Your anxiety got the best of you, and you didn't want to work there." Speaking of fake energy, that's all that FedEx gave off. Yeah, yeah, it felt like a prison there. That's crazy, man. I would not want to work in an environment where everyone's just being totally fake, and it felt like a prison and like really constricting, right? You don't want to work in an environment like that. You want to work in an environment where you can at least like get along well with your coworkers and be like at least somewhat real. You don't have to like tell them every detail about your childhood. I mean that would also be weird too, right? That would also be very weird. Actually, here's an interesting story. So when I was like this was a long time ago, like maybe I don't know, 15 years ago. When remember Barnes and Noble when those stores were around, when they would have those Barnes and Noble bookstores. I got a job at one of the Barnes and Noble cafes, and I was literally on my first day of work. Right, it was just me and this other dude, just me and this other guy, and this was the first day of work, and I'm working with him, and he's like just teaching me what to do and stuff, and he's just like he just comes up to me out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. Like there's no context, there's no segue, there's no lead in. He just comes up to me like in the middle of work and he's just like, you know, I was molested as a child. And I was like, whoa, 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 okay, I'm sorry, like I'm sorry, man. Like that's terrible. And he's like, it's okay. I just wanted you to know that. And I was like, dude, this is like, what, okay, that's super real, right? That's like ridiculously real, but that was like, I think, a little too much realness. Like, I didn't, like, what do you say in a situation like that? That was like really, like, I appreciate his genuineness and his honesty, but like, can like you at least tell me, like, maybe like after, like, I've known you more than like half an hour. it, it was wild though. Like, and why would he just say that at that moment? And there was no lead in. Like I was saying, like, he was literally showing me the different commands you had to type into the register for different products and how to search through the products, that we were selling. And then just out of nowhere, he just said that, and I was taken aback. I was completely dumbfounded. Like, what? It was a weird situation. And then, like, the whole like rest of the 8 hour shift was kind of like weird. Like, I was like, because I was waiting for him to say something else really bizarre, but he didn't. The whole rest of the shift, everything was like perfectly normal, except that one ridiculously weird situation. So yeah, that was a story I figured I'd share. All right, where are we at here in chat? I know I was talking a lot. All right. One song you say, so now you're doing more DoorDash. Okay. You're going to be doing a coding boot camp for IT, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I can picture you doing that. And that's cool, man. And that's the thing. If you can code, you can get a job anywhere. That's the cool thing about coding. It's not like we can't get a job if we're like proficient in coding. Like, we always need coders. That's a good thing. And then sometimes you can just work from home too. A lot of times with coding, you just work from home. It's like a good deal, man. I got into like JavaScript for a while. Like, I had very little programming experience. Back in the day, like, I did like HTML. I had like a website, the second largest website for the band Tool. That was like my favorite band back in the day. So I was running their second largest website. But like, this was like the early days of the internet. People didn't really know what the fuck they were doing. If someone could like change the color of the font, like, everyone was like, "Whoa, that's pretty impressive." There weren't like ads popping up on every page because no one knew how to monetize the internet yet. But yeah, anyways, like 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? I want to fucking get back into programming. I want to learn some more about that. So I just took some JavaScript classes, and I like that. I like that feel of learning about that stuff. I decided not to continue with it. But I'm grateful I took those classes. I learned a great deal, and now, like, I can I can understand things better. When I'm on the computer. Just when I'm dealing with certain glitches and whatnot, it's like, oh, I think I see what's going on here, right? All right. Yeah, exactly. One slug, like you just said, and hopefully get a remote job. Absolutely. Yeah, dude, working from home is a good deal, and more and more people are working from home. More and more businesses are opening their doors to allowing people to work from home, because before that was like a big, like, no one was like, oh, he works from home, like, we better keep our eye on that guy, he's working from home. But now everyone's like, dude, fuck going to the office. Let's just work at home. We can, like, do our work in our pajamas. Like, like, why not, right? All right. JT, you say you got to be true to yourself. Oh, you're talking to one slug. Yeah, you got to be true to yourself. If a place falls off, it's best not to be there. Yeah, yeah, right. If it feels off, right, don't be there, right? Um, let's see. One slug, you say, to be honest, every time you would think about your past experience with them before, you couldn't think of anything good but fakeness. Then yeah, it's not the right job for you, man. And it takes a while, dude. In life, it takes a while to figure out what you want to do. Basically, my best advice is to simply just try a lot of different things. Like, try a lot of different fields, try a lot of different things, be flexible, and eventually something comes around that's, like, tolerable or like pretty good, right? Something works out. You just gotta keep your chin up and keep trying. Once like you say, maybe a manager or two were real in how they interact with you, but they could only do so much to keep you afloat. Yeah, exactly, right. In a big corporate environment like that, you're not gonna. A lot of times, you just don't get that level of realness that you're gonna get, like, in with your good friends typically, or your family, right? But even, it's so weird. Even family and friends, like the friend I was talking about earlier, right? That guy's not real, and sometimes family members are not very real. Sometimes they're always putting on this ostentatious show, in which they're like so superior to everyone, and they're. But who knows, right? What JT, you say it's very open of him. Yeah, yeah, that is very open of him, right? That to say that, like, I appreciated it. It was totally out of context. It was weird. It was a it was kind of like an anachronism, right? So when something's out of place in a historical or temporal context, like the timing was off, the context was wrong for him to say that. It was really weird. Um, it would be like if we were just doing the stream and I just like got up and like walked out of the room and was like gone, and then and like you guys were all just like, what's going on here, like where did our streamer go? It would be weird, right? It just would be kind of off. You'd be like, what? But like, yeah, it was open and honest. I just think the timing could have been a little better, and like maybe like after I get to know the guy for more than half an hour or two, like like after like I actually understand the job or something, right? Let's see. One Sluggy, you say, yeah, he just gave you a lot of deep shit. You know what? You guys are actually like maybe bringing me around a little bit more. Yeah, I mean at the time I was younger too, and I was like thinking like, why is this guy doing that? But you're right, you're right. It was a very trusting, open, and honest thing about him to say, and like, okay, all right, maybe I could have, but I was nice to him. It's not like I wasn't nice about the situation. I was respectful, and I told him I appreciated everything he had to say. But it's weird. It's like that form of radical, open, and honest communication. Like I guess it didn't really resonate with me until a few years ago. Because when I was younger, I didn't used to be as open and honest, right? I used to be a lot more guarded, and I used to be a lot more careful about what I would say, because I was like, oh, well, if I say X, it's going to upset the apple cart. It's going to piss off so and so, and then there's going to be conflict. So therefore, I'm not going to say X in this given situation. And now I'm more prone to just speak my mind. I'm more prone just to be like, hey, this is how it is. This is what I feel, and that's just going to be how it is. One song you say, plus coding jobs usually pay well. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a dude. You could make so much more doing coding than you could doing like DoorDash or FedEx or any of that. Man, some like really some good coders like make tons of money. I mean, six figures is not. It's absolutely not uncommon for coders to make six figures. Tokyo Kian, you say that's awesome. You love Tool. You remember the old website too? Yeah, awesome, dude. Yeah, the dude. Yeah, there used to be a couple sites. There was toolshed.down.net. That was the number one old school tool website, toolshed.down.net. And the guy that ran it, his name was Kabir, and me and him were on good terms. He was a really cool dude. He had connections with Maynard, the lead singer of Tool, actually, and he would get like content out on his site first, and then I was the second. I was like the second biggest tool site. I was Virtual Hates Tool Page at that time. I had tool experiences that were out there that you could like hey, I had this awesome experience when I was listening to Sober back in '98, or like I had this awesome experience at this concert, right? And I had like the tours and all the guitar, bass, drum tabs and all that stuff and all the lyrics and all that. It was like the internet in its infancy, right? When we were just learning how to do all that shit, and I it was fun. It was a lot of fun. My site wasn't very elaborate. It was just like basically I just had this nice table like at the front. That's when people used to use tables. Like you'd go to site, they didn't have that left hand column, right? Of things to go through. Everything was like table format. It had like a grid, and like you just click on different things, and it was a lot of fun, man. Those are good experiences. Like I remember I was like 16 and I was getting fan mail. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, I'm like a 16-year-old kid on my Dell like Pentium computer, and I'm like getting fan mail for having like a website for a band. Like this is pretty wild, right? like what's going on here? Those are cool times though. All right, let's see. JT, you say maybe he needed to let it out at that moment. He just happened to be the person in that place and time. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that was it, right? But still, I mean, it was just bizarre how it all came out, right? Because there was nothing leading up to it. It was just literally like, all right, X. If someone buys a Coca-Cola product, you type in X64 on the keypad right here, and you hit enter. And I just want you to know, I was molested as a child. And then right after that, he's like, okay, and then X65, and I was like, what? It was just completely out of nowhere, right? And it was and it's like he had worked with other dudes there for like years, and he had never like mentioned anything to them. Like one of my friends was the manager there, and he had never mentioned anything to him. But for some reason, the first day hanging out with me, first time I meet the guy, like right in the middle of like explaining like how to use the, to use the register, like he says it. So it definitely threw me. It threw me off. I was like, wow, this is going to be intense. So yeah, that was an example of ridiculously radical, open, honest communication. And I guess I didn't really appreciate it until now. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like I'm just a coworker. Maybe he didn't want to tell the boss because he felt like that would be weird to tell the boss, but he felt like he could just open up with me, and there's a lot of people that say that. They say that they feel comfortable around me, that they can open up and express what's on their mind when we're talking. So who knows, right? All right, let's see. JT, you say the human psyche is unpredictable. That it is, absolutely. The human psyche is very unpredictable. I mean, think about it. You have your foundational belief set, and you have all the inferences that stem from those foundational beliefs, and then you have new beliefs, right? And that come into your belief set, and then you got to figure out, well, do I want to have these beliefs? Do I want to hold these beliefs? Do these contradict other beliefs in my mind? And if they do, then you have cognitive dissonance that occurs in your mind because you have belief X and belief not X that are in competition for one another. And eventually you're going to have to either supplant belief X with belief not X, or you're going to have to modify your original belief in a certain way in order to have a state of less mental tension, because that's how a lot of neuroses and issues are actually formed in our lives, because we have beliefs that contradict one another, right? Because if it's hard to live a peaceful life when you have beliefs that are constantly getting thrown against one another, right? When they're constantly in conflict with one another. All right, I think we're ready for some meditation. Okay, so we've done plenty of talking. It's time that we meditate. So I always come out. I'm full of energy. I always, have like a lot to say. I'm ready to go, and then we slow things down, and we come to a place within us in which perfect love and peace remain. Find a comfortable seated position. You can sit on the floor in lotus pose. You can sit cross-legged, or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to find a position that is comfortable for you. And then gently close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths on your own. I have a Buddhist chant that I play that has a chime that rings every 2 seconds. And you can use that to help regulate your breath count. Take a few more slow, deep breaths on your own while maintaining good posture. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, slowly raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, slowly lowering your abdomen. Focus on your breath. Inhale, raising your belly. Exhale, lowering your belly. Breathe in, raising your abdomen. Breathe out, lowering your abdomen. Keep your awareness on your breath count. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Be mindful of your breath count. Visualize yourself sitting on the tallest mountaintop. Watching the clouds float through the sky beneath you. Two clouds come together, merging into one. And one cloud stretches apart, dividing into two. The clouds float through the sky before disappearing over the horizon. These clouds are like your thoughts. Thoughts come into being, exist for a while in conscious awareness, before disappearing from your mind. That is the nature of human thought. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Focus on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, visualize them as clouds floating through the sky before disappearing over the horizon. Returning your focus to your breath count. Your essence is love. Your love is manifested as light. Your purpose is to shine your light on others. Awakening the inner light within them. So that they will shine their light on all whom they encounter. Until all of humanity is glowing radiantly as one once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all the ego which obscures your third eye sight. Keep your awareness on your breath count. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not judge them. Instead, visualize them as clouds floating through the sky. The clouds move left and right and to and fro. Before disappearing over the horizon. While the clouds are here, they change into many different shapes. And eventually, they leave your sight. The same is true of our thoughts. Thoughts arise in the mind and may change shape and form many times before they disappear from conscious awareness. That is the transitory nature of human thought. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which hinders your evolution. Focus on your breath. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of conscious awareness. Go to the region of your heart chakra. Give yourself permission to experience the love that emanates from that location. And feel the warmth which surrounds your love. Stay for a while in this place of perfect peace. While maintaining a slow and regular breath count. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which obscures your third eye vision. Focus on your breath count. On your next breath, travel down further to your center. The place of perfect peace and oneness at your core. Separation and division cannot enter here. For what is eternally one can never be two. Go down deep within your love. Embracing the joy that resides here. Feeling the perfect peace that exists at this location. For you are one with the source of all creation. Stay for a while, focusing on the perfect peace. For it was given to you for eternity. As thoughts enter your mind, visualize them as clouds floating through the sky before disappearing over the horizon. And return your awareness to your breath count. On your next breath, travel down directly to your center. Find the center point that exists in that location. Notice the attributes that exist in that region. Do you feel warmth and love emanating from this location? Direct all your focus on your center point. The immutable place within you from time immemorial. Focus all your awareness on your center point. And when you're ready, go on through. I'll see you on the other side. Here, at your center point, you remember your true identity. At your center, you remember how you came to be. Here, at your center point, you recall your divine purpose. For at your center, true nature unfolds. Here, at your center point, love flows from the source of all creation. And your essence is that identical love. You flow eternally from the source of all creation. Bringing light to every corner of all existence. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all stress and tension from your body. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all stress and tension from your mind. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all anxiety from your being. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all fear and worry from your mind. Gently open your eyes, returning to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of your day. Namaste. Thank you all so much for sharing the sacred space with me. As always, I am honored and humbled to be here, walking you through these meditations. It gives me fulfillment to be able to teach this beautiful technique in which we can become more peaceful and relaxed and live a higher quality of life. And the fact that you showed up here today means a lot to me. So thank you so much for showing up to take care of yourself. How was that meditation for everyone? I feel a lot more peaceful than I did prior to the meditation. That was 38 minutes That was a 38-minute meditation, which is a good time. You know, it's funny, like pretty much no matter what, no matter how long we meditate for, I always say it's a good time for meditation. But yeah, it typically is. You don't need to be so rigid in your meditation. Some days you can meditate, an hour and a half. Some days 5 minutes is all that's necessary. The main thing is just to put in the effort and to be there for yourself. JT, you say weightless. Wonderful. Excellent. Good. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you were here. And one sluggy. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. You're tired. Good. Hopefully you'll be able to get a good night's sleep tonight. It's people think meditation is easy, but it's not. It requires a lot of work. It's a lot of focus, right? When you're in that meditative state, you have to put a lot of effort into maintaining focus on your breath and letting go of your thoughts. And it's tiring, right? But it's the best thing you can do for yourself. It brings peace and love and joy in your lives. So I'm grateful that you were able to be here with me. All right, we are at that time. I think it's time to raid someone. Let's see who's out there. This is the time where we spread the love with everyone who's out there. Oh, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer. I know exactly who I'm raiding. One of my good friends, Evelyn Yoga, is streaming. We are going to give her a raid. She was actually in my channel yesterday. She was here yesterday, so we'll give her a nice raid. Evelyn. Let's see. Tokyo Kian, you say, thank you. That was a beautiful meditation. Connecting to my center was a great feeling. So much love, light, and peace. Well, thank you so much, Tokyo Kian. That is so awesome. To get that kind of feedback, that warms my heart. Thank you. I'm here for you. I'm here for everyone. I love everyone unconditionally, and the fact that you were here and willing to do the meditation means a lot to me. And that's wonderful feedback. Thank you so much, my friend. And welcome to the community. Welcome. This is I don't have a set streaming schedule, but I stream when I can, when I feel inspired to do so. And hopefully, I'll see you around again. Loka Samasta Sukinu Bhavantu. You were lurking and working. Thank you. Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully the meditation made your working more peaceful. I guess it depends what kind of work you're doing, right? But yeah, that's great, man. Thank you so much for stopping by, for coming in, man. You've been a source of love and light in this channel too lately, so much appreciated, man. All right, time for the raid. Evelyn is a wonderful yoga streamer, super amazing lady. She does tarot streams, she does yoga streams. She's filled with love and light, and you can see it radiating from her. So let's give her some support. Thank you all so much. Namaste. I'll see you around.